What is going on, everybody? I'm running my weekly watch list session. So, we're going to look at some setups for this week, some news. We're going to have a look at Yahoo Finance. But we're going to start with some earnings. And if you guys don't know, by the way, and you're watching this on YouTube, I do this live in my Discord ahead of the Sundays depending on what's going on. But yeah, the aim is to kind of just look at different setups, look at kind of stuff what I'm watching so you can take initiative as well and see what I see. You can also plan and prepare ahead of time. And obviously, if you plan properly, you end up having a pretty good week. So let's get into it. But there's about three or four specific earnings plays I'm watching this week. And the first one is RGTI, Rigetti. So RGTI reports earnings tomorrow after hours. Now, I'm interested to see how it goes because it's pretty much a meme coin. You'll see the chart in a little bit, but it's pretty much like not a meme coin, like a meme stock. And it's just one of those where I'm like, sometimes I look at it and it's up 50% in a day. Sometimes you look at it and it's down 12% in a day. So right now the stock is sitting at $10. Um, it's been pretty good over the past month. It's up like 35% over the past month, but I will be looking at that. That is RGTI up here after close. I'm thinking it's going to make a run for its money and, really pump, but we'll see what happens. Then Tuesday, I'm looking at JD before market and OKLO after market. Wednesday, there's not really too much that I'm looking at. Nothing specifically that catches my attention. You have got LAZR, but not nothing really. It's more about Thursday for me with Alibaba and Walmart. Them two pre-market. Definitely look at those, and I think Kava will do pretty well after close Thursday, but we'll see how well it does. But yeah, so that's really the ones I'm looking at. Again, RGTI, JD, OKLO, Walmart, Alibaba, and then Kava as well. AMAT possibly, but yeah, those are the main ones. So let's get into Yahoo Finance next. Let's get into Yahoo Finance. We're gonna do that. All right. So right now there's trade talks going on with China. We'll see how they go. Obviously, as you guys know, there's been tariff talks constantly up and down the last 2 months, pretty much since Trump's a little bit since Trump has been in administration. Yeah, we're talking about 145% levels right now, which is super high. But still, we're going to see what's being discussed. We're going to see how it pans out. We're going to see what happens. Obviously, whoever comes out this week and speaks and says anything, especially from the US side, that's going to affect the US markets. So I don't know if. Hold on. They're asking if I share my screen. Right? Now you should see it, right? Just let me know if you. Okay, cool. So yeah, there's going to be some talk about, what happens with the tariff news once again. We say the same every week, right? There was Liberation Day a month ago, April 2nd. Um, I'm pretty sure the market dropped drastically like the couple days after. We recovered. And now, again, it's just about seeing what they come out and say with this news. I think we're going to see a little bit better news, at least for the short term. So we shall see, of course. It's never a guarantee. But just beware. Just beware. That's all I'll say. Protect yourself as best as possible. And remember that no matter what, hey, you're trading with money that you could lose, same with me. So yeah, just beware of that. So let's go back to the homepage. See anything else you need to look at? They got the dollar versus the yen. Um, that's really, that's really, that's really what it is right now. Inflation data, trade talks in the week ahead. Inflation data coming out then as well. Mm, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how it pans out. But yeah, stocks ended the week slightly down. But let's see. One thing I definitely want to look at is Tesla. Tesla's been going crazy last few days. There it is. Look at the last 5 days, right? Tesla was down at 272. It's up at 300 now. I'm pretty sure it's up right now. Pre-market, you know. Um, if we go to TradingView, we'll probably be able to see this. Or they don't show it on Sunday, but if you go to your own Robinhood, you'll see where Tesla is right now. Either way, I'm bullish on Tesla. What I'm looking for though with Tesla, so this is my 4 hour chart, right? We've hit this level of support a few times. I'm looking for us to push up to this zone. So 327, all right, 326, 327. That's what I'm looking for to happen with Tesla. I do not know where it will go, but I do know that that is my price target. So all I can do when I have a price target is like that is trade what I see. So again, we're above the 200 moving average, the 9 moving average, the 21 moving average. We're above my level where it was consolidating. I think Tesla can push 327 again is my target for Tesla. So just watch it. You know, Tesla has got room to run, and when Tesla does get on his bike and it's on his horse, it goes crazy. All right, we've seen that this week. All right, what day was it? Was that Friday? Yeah, that was Friday. We went from 289 up to 306. Right, crazy. Pull back a little bit, but we all know it's just prepping to go higher again. Um, yeah, so that's Tesla. I wanted to talk about RGTI, right? Headed at earnings. I like the chart. Okay, so we're gonna for this one we're gonna start all the way on the weekly chart, right? Weekly chart is a nice little setup, right? You got my zone here. It bounced off my zone, kept going higher, broke above the moving averages, and kept pushing. That's the weekly chart, right? The weekly chart is strong. Now we're at like a level of resistance, well, we're at the previous. We closed similarly 2 weeks in a row, right? We're going to be at the previous resistance, 1129 soon. But because it's such a cheap stock, if we actually run to the level of resistance tomorrow, it's still a nice gain, right? It's still a 65 cent move up here. 65 cent move is still a decent gain. So you could trade the run up to earnings. After earnings, we'll see what happens. We can look at the last couple earnings and see how that panned out. All right, last earnings they got killed. Um, yeah, they got killed on revenue. They got killed. Share they got killed. So we'll see how it pans out tomorrow. Um, Earnings before that, it wasn't as relevant. It was a $1 stock back then. So yeah, watch our DTI. If anything, if you're worried, just trade the earnings aftermath. You don't have to trade tomorrow before earnings. But I said if you are trading before earnings, I do think it will run up at least that 1129 spot. But yeah, so next one is definitely going to be Palantir. So Palantir, I'm looking at calls, right? Why am I looking at calls? We had heard so we were strong, great chart, right? Had a bit of a bull fly before. We broke out. OG had earnings dropped down to 105, bounced back to 120 almost instantly, right? 2 days, boom, we're back at 120. It's like we recouped almost everything from earning. Now I think looking at the chart, based off the moving average here, we're still gonna continue pushing up. 4 hour chart for Palantir, it was looking bad after earnings. But Palantir is such a strong stock, such a well run company that it bounced straight back. It bounced back like nothing had happened. And that's what I love about Palantir. So I'm looking for that 120 price point again, and possibly get up to that 125 like we were pre earnings. One thing about Palantir that I know always seems to happen is when it does have momentum, it really pushes. Right. Look back here from 21st of April at $90 to last week, 5th of May 125. Just so strong, unstoppable, incredible. So yeah, Palantir again, looking for calls, 120 calls, shorter term expiry, and if it does pull back sometime, again, guess what? I'm gonna be loading up for calls longer term out. I don't think there's anything that's stopping Palantir from hitting 120, 125. All right, so yeah, Palantir calls are definitely on. Next up, going with XYZ. So XYZ, similar story to Palantir, right? I'm gonna use a weekly chart for this, so you can just kind of have an idea. So weekly chart is bearish. Yes, they sold off heavily because of earnings, right? Nothing wrong with that. This last week was green. Good to know. Why? Because we were in calls. We were in calls, and we got in calls Friday. Friday at $44. It was less. It was say $44. We ran it up to 51, got rejected by the moving average. We're coming back down a bit. No worries. If it comes down too hard, take your profit. We were up 200%. We got in at 44. We had $50 calls with 2 weeks expiry, and it ran to 51. So it ran $7. All right. It ran like what? Um, Probably like 15, 20% the stock. Five green days in a row. Nothing wrong with that. You know? Well, watch for the rejection here at the moving average. Watch for the rejection. It's very likely that it gets rejected and it sells off a little bit before it comes back to test it again. That's a possibility, right? We just had earnings though, so I do believe we're near the lows. The lows we dropped to after earnings was fine, right? 44. Nothing crazy. If you were in before earnings, yeah, you probably got slaughtered. We got in after earnings. Great, right? And now I'm looking for it to push back up. But again, watch for the rejection at the moving averages. So in here, you see the consolidation in between the moving averages on a 4 hour chart. That could mean it's gearing up to just go higher. But at the same time, again, on the higher time frames, we see that it's still bearish, the daily, the weekly. So just be careful. That's what I'd say. We've done the hard work though with this one. See, hourly is still bullish. And it's consolidating now. We've done the hard work with XYZ, right? We got in at 44. Down here, we hit 51. We were in the money. Great. Okay. So yeah, that's XYZ for you. LMND, lemonade. This is the one I want you to watch, right? Weekly chart. Look at how erratic it is. We had we had a great 3 weeks in a row. We had an outside bar here. We closed above the 9-day moving average. The moving averages are getting ready to cross to the upside. LMND. Watch this one. Daily chart. Look at that. This is my setup right here. All three moving averages cross to the upside. We're holding them. We come back and tapped on the moving average many times. I'm looking for it to push now, get back up to where it was last week Tuesday. 32.75. Once we break that, which is also, let me just show a level for you right here. Right, level. It was support before. It was support. Previous support became a new resistance. That happens with stocks. Previously, where they had held support, when it comes from the other side, it's a new resistance. Once we break that, we can start heading towards that $37 level. But watch LMND Lemonade for swing trade. I am also a shareholder of this, so I will show you the monthly chart, and you can decide where you want to buy shares. So right here, $16 level. That's where you can be buying your shares. Look how we were 1 month, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months in a row. We was at $15 before we broke out. We doubled. We came back down now. We're gonna go back up again. All right. That's LMND for you, lemonade. I am also a shareholder, as I said. So the next one is IWM. Why am I doing IWM? Well, we are currently in IWM calls. We have been swinging them since Friday, right? So IWM. Okay. The past month is green. It's good. Let's look at the weekly. Guess what? Weekly is also green and it's building up. So I like these IWM calls. I ain't got a problem holding these IWM calls, buying more and keep putting out a few days expiry and just riding the wave, right? IWM is one of them stocks that if you want to trade options on it, it's cheap, right? IWM is cheap. So once again, if you're with me swinging IWM calls as you should be, because most of the chat is doing that, and when it's a play that we're all in together, I'm not saying you have to take it, but in this case, I'm swinging the 201 calls. We slightly below 200. Sorry, we slightly below 201. We 281. I believe we're opening the money tomorrow. I believe we will. But what will happen at the 205 level? When we get there, what will happen at the 205 level? Will we get rejected? Maybe. Let's see. But I'm positive. I'm bullish. On IWM. Just starting out. So yeah, just beware though, because again, the calls expire tomorrow, so we do need it to move quickly, relatively quickly in the morning, or show us some signs of strength. But again, You live with me now. Understand that IWM, if it opens in the money, if it opens high into a one, great. We're gonna be up 60, 70, 80%. You gotta manage your trade because it expires tomorrow, right? It expires tomorrow, so you guys know how that goes, right? If we open at 202, open at 203, be smart with your play, right? If it opens higher than that, oh, then we just lucky. Then you know we up 100%. If it opens anywhere near here, watch for the rejection, okay? So again, we are already swinging the IWM 201 calls, right? If you're in the play with me, be smart. That's where your money's going to be made. I forgot the markets. Oh, we might get, let me check IWM in a minute. Just anyone can check IWM. Let me know how much it is right now because we're in the pre-markets actually, so it should be open in the overnight hours. Um, yeah, we'll see. Huh? Wow. So we up. Wow. Wait. Oh, we opening nice, guys. We opening the money. 204.66 currently. Okay. All right. So damn, we up. We might be opening up here. We might be opening nice, guys. And our calls are going to be deep in the money. Yes, I like that. That's how I want to start the week. Oh shoot. Okay. All right. We'll see. Jeez, that's a positive surprise. That's a positive surprise. Okay. Um. Anyway, Roku, my next one. So Roku sort of bad. Roku's sort of crazy, right? Dropped out the zone after earnings, came all the way down here. Roku is a bit like XYZ. I see it and I'm like, okay, this is a bit oversold right now. Watch for the run up, right? Watch for Roku to break to the upside. I don't mind that it's below the moving average. I don't mind that on the 4 hour chart. I look at the hourly, I see it starting to build up, right? Roku. I look at the daily, I see it's getting rejected. I'm like, okay, I wonder. But with Roku, you see how it's starting to curl up? Give yourself some time. Give yourself 2 weeks to expiry. Give yourself enough time to come back to the trade and then eat good. I don't think anything's gonna keep the stock down for longer, especially if the rest of the market is more running. It already dropped after earnings, like XYZ. It already dropped after earnings, just like Marvell, right? It don't need to look. Where's the earnings? Marvell earnings. Look, it already dropped after earnings and dropped again. All right, it's coming back. It's gonna come back. Wait, hold on. They had earnings last week. Why is it not showing? Either way, yeah, it's gonna come back. It's gonna recover. Like I said, just like Marvell did, right? So Roku, go back to Roku. I'm looking at the $65 calls. $65 calls for a couple weeks out. I'm looking at those. I'm saying, yeah, give me some of those. I'm looking at the Roku. I'm saying, you know what? If I really wanna just give myself enough time, I'm looking at 2 to 3 months out, and I'm going for the 67 calls. I'm going for the $70 calls. But I do believe the markets will be bullish for the next few days. Maybe who knows? Maybe it'll be a nice merry month of May, and we'll get a nice bullish May. Who knows? But yeah, Roku, I'm looking at calls. Marvell, I'm looking at calls. Marvell, I'm looking for those. Watch this. Marvell, I'm looking up here. Those $64 calls, 63.50, $64 calls. I'm looking at those for 2, 3 weeks out, right? Like May 23rd kind of price. I'm looking at the 63 calls for May 23rd, 62 calls for if it's this week, closer to the money. But I'm looking at calls on those ones. Roblox, right? So Roblox chart is a lot different to a lot of these other stocks. Roblox chart is smooth. Roblox chart is nice. Roblox chart is not having me worried, right? A lot of the other stocks are dropping, right? Um, I think with this, you kind of see what I'm talking about when I talk about my setup. You got a moving average crossover. It's been bullish ever since. It come down to moving average, consolidated, and started breaking out again, right? Weekly chart. Okay, last week was a bit crazy, a bit hectic. You know, um, I mean, Dragonfly Doji here, but hey, those 3 weeks, those 4 weeks before, look how bullish we were. From lows of 50, we hit highs of 74. So that ain't really worrying me when I see the doji like that. It's just a bad week. But Roblox is definitely on my radar for calls. Daily is nice, 4 hours nice. Weekly is so the weekly is so strong. Hourly, yeah, we came down, bounced, and moving out. We broke out Friday, came down, bounced, and we going up again. Roblox again, super strong stock right now. Super nice setup on the daily chart. Um, yeah, I'm looking at Roblox calls. So just be with me on that and be with me and let's eat good. Um, what was my next stock? I have my list written down. Let me go check it out. Ah, Uber, yeah. So Uber, similar to Roblox, right? We were low down in the beginning of April. We shot out, came back down, we're going up again. Uber, this is the target, $86. That's the target. I think we can hit that within the next few days. I think we hit that this week, right? Uber. I don't see how we don't hit it. But again, we trade with money we can afford to lose. We are smart with our plays. We look at our entries and exits. For me, I look at the $84 call for May 23rd. So that's 2 weeks from this Friday. Um, Again, if $84 is closer to the money, if you want to go further out of the money because it's a little bit cheaper, you want to spend, $150 instead of $190, you can go $85 call for May 23rd. But either way, I see some strong momentum for Uber, especially as the other stocks around it do well. You guys know about Lyft. Lyft has had an amazing week last week. Lyft had a crazy week. Look at that. Lyft went crazy, right? 4 hour insane. Had you guys see Lyft? Friday up 28%. In the week up 38%. So I don't know if you guys had seen Lyft, but look at the weekly chart, right? Is that not insane to you guys? Like it's crazy when you see that kind of move. It is crazy, and I think Lyft can really get up to that $18 price point. We'll see, but I have high hopes for Lyft. Then what we traded last week, another one with Hims, right? So Hims is a bit of I won't call it a meme play, but it is definitely a speculative stock, right? It's a stock which, well, you can see it by the price action, right? One day you're at, consolidating at $27. The next day you jump up 10% to 30. The next day you jump up 20%. Like it's a bit of a hectic ride. It's a roller coaster. But Hims, Hims have got Hims have got good news behind them, and with good news behind you, you know you can really ride in this market, right? So they're putting a new CTO to help AI driven healthcare transformation. Apparently, they're trading below their estimated value. They did a great quarterly report again. They're still marks Hims to $100. Um, they're doing well right now, right? They beat expectations on the earnings. They've got good news behind them. So yeah, Hims is one to look at. Hims is one to watch, but only on pullbacks. Don't be buying Hims when it's up at 52. We got into Hims last week when it was what? I think 40, 45. Oh no, in fact, it was a $42 call. So we got in just underneath $42, right? That's a good place to buy. Not when it's way up high. Let it come down a bit because it's gonna fly up again, right? So Hims and hers, keep that definitely on your radar. AMD is next, right? And I've got a couple more, and I'm gonna look at what stocks you guys suggest. Right, so AMD. You guys know how much I love AMD. You know how bullish I am on AMD. AMD has actually been one of the slower moving stocks recently, but when it gets going, it's gonna really fly, right? So we're looking to get to that $104.61 price point. We wicked off it on Thursday. We hit it on Thursday, came back down. We should look at the hourly chart for this smaller time frame because we're going intraday, right? Thursday we hit it a couple times actually. We came down, we consolidated, but we're gonna hit it again. Tomorrow, Tuesday, we're gonna hit this level again. So $105 call for AMD will be nice, $105, $106 call. They're not really too expensive. If you want to go in the money, you can get the $102 calls. But again, preferably you go 105, $106. I think we get there within the next couple of days. I like AMD as a company. I like Lisa Su as a CEO. I love the chart right now. We came back from that, $85 drop to $85. We rebounded. We've come back strong. We're looking good. We're looking nice right now, right? So AMD is also on my watch for calls. Yeah, it's looking good. And then I do want to touch on MSTR. I know a lot of you guys like trading that stock. So MSTR, MicroStrategy. Okay. Now, this stock is a beast when it gets going. As you can see, last few weeks, nothing stopped. If you just bought a call on MSTR, 2 weeks out, sold, rinse and repeat, or rolled it, rinse and repeat, a call, $20 out of the money, $30 out of the money. I know even $20, $30 out of the money is still, you know, I think 700, $800 a contract. But guess what? Right now it's pulling back a little bit. Right now, crypto is booming. If you look at Bitcoin, we're at 105K. Crypto is booming. MSTR is also going to be booming, right? So MSTR, kind of just watch yourself with this one because again, if you're trading with smaller portfolios, less money, you don't really need to touch that. But for those of you who got bigger money, you don't mind putting $600 in a contract, I'll look at MSTR calls, right? I do think we'll go back up to that 435 level. I think $20 out of money is not far fetched. I see us pushing to that kind of level this week, especially with Bitcoin being strong, crypto rallying. If we check MSTR on Yahoo Finance, that's kind of good news you want to see. Michael Saylor said the MSTR could qualify for the S&P 500. MSTR on the S&P 500 will be huge. Let's see. When is their earnings? It's already gone, huh? Earnings. So grow from. That's funny. So the financials are actually not great. Financials are not actually great. Let's look at the annual numbers. So they were actually be doing better in 2022 and 2023 than they did last year and this year, or this year so far. So that's actually interesting. So realistically, actually, MSTR is still not even a great company. But again, when you got hype, when you're just buying Bitcoin, yeah, I mean, and Bitcoin is moving, it's also going to help you move as a company, isn't it? So that's funny. So yeah, MSTR actually isn't one I would personally invest in right now, yet until I see better financials. So yeah, that is funny. But yeah, again, those of you with a bigger portfolio, you don't mind spending $600 on a contract, or $400 on a contract. Yeah, you know what the deal is. Look at those calls when it pulls back. Look at those calls while crypto's got momentum. Yeah. So that's my kind of stocks. I mean, Walmart, PayPal, they're on my watch list. Alibaba, of course, because of earnings. Exxon always. But let me look at some of the stocks you guys suggested. Right. All right. Palantir, IWM, HIMS. Yeah, I've already done those because those are my stocks. XYZ, done those. Freebrand, I got all yours done. TTWO. Okay. It's gearing up, huh? Oh yeah, this is a good setup. TTWO. So let's start with the weekly chart. Remember, start pumping those stocks in the chat. Start telling me what stocks you want, me to break down. TTWO, right? So take it to interactive software. Weekly chart, beautiful. All all the moving averages is above all the moving averages, right? Great. It's come down and touched the moving average as well. It's not too far from moving average, so it's not too overbought, right? Daily, consolidating a little bit, but pushing up again. 4 hour, same thing, right? Even more consolidation in the 4 hour. 1 hour, you look at the different time frames, easy consolidation. It's getting ready to break out, right? 50 minute, 50 minutes. So Friday was strong, but again, this is one like MSTR a little bit. If you want to get a contract, you have to go 10, $15 out of money. Then you start getting contracts for 200, $300. If you're playing with a smaller portfolio, better to not trade these kind of stocks, but it is a nice setup. I would definitely say that it's a great setup, right? I could take a punt at a couple of contracts on this. I could take a punt, right? I'll probably go for a if it's yeah, I'll probably go for a 235 call for this week. And I have to put up a few $100 for that, but I wouldn't mind trading this. So yeah, thanks for that. CRWV. This is Uzo stock, huh? He put you onto this stock. Let's see what that one is. Oh yeah, this is nice. It pulled back all the way. It pulled back all the way. It's getting ready for the next leg up. Weekly chart is still strong, right? You haven't really got a moving average because it doesn't have that history, right? 4 hour. Oh, it's below. So just watch in case it does continue selling off. But I think the daily is strong enough. I think hourly is gearing up to start. It's tested moving averages come down. I think hourly is gearing up to start pushing again. So yeah, I would definitely look at calls for that. I think this level here, I'll mark it for you. Kind of top of these candles here and the bottom of these candles, that $52 level, I look at calls for that. I'll probably go for $55 calls, a couple dollars out of the money. I think that would be a cheaper contract for you guys, maybe a couple $100. But I do think it's something to look at, right? A lot of people do trade the stock. I know it has high volume, it has high open interest. So, yeah, that's that cloud infrastructure. So, cloud infrastructure, you can't really go wrong when the rest of tech is moving. So, look at that kind of stock. Look at ARM as well. You know, you'll see similar stuff from them. ARM, got rejected, it's coming down again. But yeah, um, all right, let me check this. Roblox is a nice setup also. Yep. I don't know if you said that before or after I looked at it, but yeah, it does. Amazon, great. So Amazon, I actually did an Amazon call out last week. I don't know if you guys took that trade, um, but with Amazon, yeah, it's got a great setup. Amazon have been bullish, ever since 165 when we were down here, and I said, yeah, Amazon looks like it's a nice price point to grab some calls right now. Hopefully, people did grab some calls. I don't know if they did, but yeah, Amazon. I'm looking just to see it to $200 level. You're right, um, 200, I'm pretty positive that Amazon reaches that level in the next few days. I don't think that there's anything stopping it, especially when the rest of the market is running. Um, they reported earnings, and it was good earnings, as we expected of Amazon. Nothing crazy. So yeah, I'm looking for Amazon to keep pushing, keep showing some momentum. Um, But yeah, we got the Amazon 200 calls for like $200 last week. It was funny because it was 200 call for $200. So you know, mine expires May 23rd. I don't know if everyone got the same price point, the same date, but yeah, Amazon's looking good, right? So yeah, um, good pointing out Amazon. SoFi as well, it's good. All right, SoFi, yeah, we know what SoFi does, right? This is a weekly chart. It came back from when it was $9 a few weeks ago, and I said that level at $9, SoFi, we could see it fly, right? SoFi is up to $13.80. $14. I mean, 13.60 is the first level. Then $14.50. We're trying to look for that level. SoFi, once it gets going, it's gonna move. It's gonna move. So yeah, I look at SoFi calls. Like I said, a lot of stocks I'm bullish on right now. So I'm in the $13 call, which expires this week actually. That's going all right. It's only up, I think, 12, 15%. I don't think it's too late to get in. I don't think it's too late. I do think I can actually check. I could check for you guys after. But yeah, I do think it was like a small account kind of thing. So you got to buy a lot of contracts. I think they were like 40, $50. So yeah, so far it's looking good though. Above all the moving averages, price is holding nicely. Yeah, I like the look of SoFi. Let's see. ACHRCELH. Nice. Archer. Yeah. Daily chart is cool. Weekly chart wicked off the moving average. Good sign. 4 hour moving average crossover showing signs of momentum, showing strength. I like this. Um, for me, that 8.99 $9 price target is first. then we'll get up to the 945. So just steady 40, 50 cent increments. I do like that. So yeah, ACHR. I know, well, I believe for this, I think this one they do like weird expiries. I might not be correct, but they used to do like weird expiries, so you might have to check for that. But it's a bit similar to SoFi. The contracts are going to cost you 40, $50 if you go, 50 cents out the money, $1 out the money. So yeah, I like this. I'll just say I'd go for the $9 calls, 950 calls, and just take it from there. Celsius, I love Celsius. What? So we at $36 right now. We may come down a bit. Daily chart is strong. Weekly chart in and around the moving average. But once Celsius blows, we'll hit that 38 price point. We'll go head towards $40 again. Celsius has been a great stock for me. So yeah, consolidated on the daily. We're starting to break above. Once we get away from this 36 price point, that's all we need to do, right? Last week I had a good week, up 7, 8%. And yeah, we're looking strong again. So Celsius, yeah. Let me see what other ones they're recommending in the chat. Intel, INTC. Beautiful, right? Doji, I mean, gapped up above the moving averages. Doji continued higher, and now hammer candle. So let's see. INTC, right? Intel. Let's see what it does. Um, I think just to go safe, let me zoom out a little bit. So Intel is a strange one, right? There we go. Look, kind of a lot of price around the same, similar kind of price points, hanging below the moving averages right now. I think for this one, you just go safe. You go $22 call, expiring a week. I mean, 23, yeah, May 23rd, May 30, you just go safe with $22 call. The contracts for Intel are always super cheap. It's going to cost you like $60 to go from May 23rd or May 30th. So yeah, I'd look at it as $22 call for that. I don't think you go wrong. And if it doesn't work out, you cut it to 10, 15, 20%, Meta, great stock, great company. This is people are sleeping on this now. It's funny to hear that people are sleeping on a stock which is $592, but a platform which is so strong. So yeah, Meta. Contracts are pretty expensive. Not too bad though if you go 15, $20 out of money. And it's Meta. So when the market is running, Meta can jump $15 in a day. Meta can jump $20 in a day. Meta can jump 20. These here, look, 482, 554 on a weekly, right? So if we break that down to the daily chart, some days 579, 615. Sorry, 605. So Meta can jump $20 in a day. Meta can jump $25 overnight. Meta can do a lot of stuff, right? So for me, I'll just look at the. It's tough because the contracts are expensive, so you need to go either far out expiry and far out the money, or relatively far out the money, like 10, $15 out the money, but this week expiry. But I do like Meta. I wouldn't mind throwing in like a $600 call. I don't know how much that would cost, but if it's too expensive, then a 605, 610 call, 612.5 call. But yeah, Meta looks good. And if the rest of the market is running, then it's pulling back, but the rest of the market is running, Meta's going to run too. Adobe. Adobe is a strong, strong company. So by the way, if you don't have any shares of Adobe, definitely look at that. This is a company that's tariff proof. It's a company that they've got their target market and they stick with it, right? Don't know how many of you guys use Premiere Pro or any kind of Adobe software, but Adobe is a great company, right? There's a reason that if we go to the monthly chart, there's a reason that this stock was down at $90 7 years ago. There's a reason it went all the way to highs of $700 um, 3, 4 years ago. So yeah, Adobe's a great company long term. Regards to options, it's kind of been on a down. Um, on a down recently, been a bit oversold. But look again, $400 a month or two out, you can't really go wrong. But yeah, Adobe will definitely be one that I'm not trading for the near time. Yeah, but if you do want to trade it, go a month out and go $20, $25 out of money for Adobe. All right, two more stocks we're writing down. Actually, I'm gonna do three. So first, Nike. I love Nike as a company. Another company for the long term is great. Another company where I look at it every day. I'm like, yeah, Nike for $58 is a steal. I mean, I got some shares for $55 a few weeks ago, but I need to get some more. I need to get way more than I did. I got about 40 shares. I should have got way more. Right? Nike is one where I'm like, yeah, this for me. So right now, especially because it's sold off twice after earnings, gap down twice. I would just look at the $60 calls. Give yourself a couple weeks. I look at those. I like the 4 hour chart. It keeps, it comes down, but it keeps pushing up, right? So as long as we hold around the moving averages, I'm not too worried about Nike. Like I said, a $60 call, a couple weeks out is fine. I see us being back at $60 in the next couple of days. Nike is good. I'm not worried about Nike. The Nike contract's always cheap as well, which makes it nice for us. So yeah, Robin the Hood, right? These guys have a strong stock. It's a little bit. This one reminds me a little bit of hymns. Sometimes it just come out of nowhere and just be strong, right? So let's start from a monthly and we work our way down, right? So monthly chart, back to back green months. 4 out of the first 5 months of the year green. It's strong, right? We go to the weekly chart. We came down, started coming higher above the moving averages, strong. Daily chart, very nice, very nice, very nice. I like consolidated, pushed up, doji. But look at my price targets here: 58 and 8 cents, 61 and 40 cents, 62 and 44 cents. We're going there. We are going there with Robinhood. We're going to be up there soon. So don't be too worried about what's happening in the short term with the noise, all that kind of stuff. Robinhood will gonna hit my $58 target tomorrow or the next day, right? It's gonna jump up that $4. It's gonna be up 5%, in a couple of days. We'll be there. So I'm not worried about that. But get the calls on the pullback. Don't get the calls when it's high up. Don't get the calls when it's jumped up overnight. Don't get the calls when it's already overextended. Wait for it to come down a little bit. Yeah, I like Robinhood calls. $60 a week out. It's not too expensive, I'm sure. All right, one more stock. The last stock. Who has gonna? Did we talk about Tesla already? Yeah, we did. We talked about Tesla already. Lily, do I want to? Do I want to? You know what? I saw it sort of crazy last week. Eli Lilly is the last stock we're going to review today. Ticker symbol LLY. Yeah, thank you for putting this on my radar. So this is the kind of opportunity when I look at it, I'm like, yes, you're down at $734. All I need to do now is look at this stock and say, okay, what do I want to do? Where do I want to see it going? Let it continue selling off, right? Weekly chart, red, bearish, it's dropping. You can trade puts when the market is strong. That's not really the time I want to play puts, right? You can play puts. What I want to do here, wait for it to bottom out like it did here. Wait for it to find a level of support. It found a level of consolidation slash support over here. Wait for that to happen. Wait for some 4 hour candles to play out. And if it does start showing signs of strength, if it does start showing a confirmation of uptrend, upside, I'll get in there, right? I'll get in the calls, but I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna buy calls now and then be sitting there while it's selling off more. Because yeah, once it came down and it came back up and consolidated, you could have got more puts. Once it retested the moving average, you could have got puts. But yeah, I think it looks good for calls. You just gotta wait, be patient, buy yourself time. But I think we'll be there. I think when the calls time comes, we'll be there. And what kind of calls would those? Would those be? Probably back up to that consolidation level. So $800 calls, which is I know it's far out of the money, but that wouldn't be bad. $800 calls for May 23rd, May 30th, right? Remember that $800 calls, and I think we could see ourselves maybe not up there right away, but soon enough near that level. And now, unfortunately, it's going to cost you $500 or $600 for that. But hey, if you think you want to get in the calls, that's the way I'll do it. Wait for the consolidation, wait for the confirmation of uptrend, and yeah, wait for it to sell off a little bit more before we get there. Right now, it's tanking. It's in puts territory. It's down. It's probably down overnight again. They're getting slaughtered. They're getting killed. I know Uzo had some puts last week, but yeah, Eli Lilly is getting whacked. Oh, overnight. Okay, it's slightly up. I don't know if that will hold though, but we'll see. Um, Weight loss in trial. We'll see. So they okay. So Eli Lilly and Novo going head to head, really, pretty much. Let's see what Novo is doing. What? Oh, sorry, NBO. Eh, all right. Well, guys, markets are up overnight, so some of my stock prices might already hit. But Novo and Eli Lilly's, they're going, they're going toe to toe with a crappy stock. Either way, guys, thank you all for listening. Thank you for watching. Make sure you drop a like on the video, comment, share, all that stuff, subscribe, and make sure you. We're gonna make it another great week. We're gonna have a fantastic week once again. We're gonna not make too many mistakes. We're gonna learn from our mistakes from last week, and most importantly, we're gonna trade with a plan every single day, right? So hopefully we see some nice moves. Hopefully see some nice momentum. We see our charts play out how we expected. But yeah, we prepared. Let's see how it pans out. So catch you guys later. Let me know in the chat if you enjoyed the session. But thank you guys so much. And yeah, have a great Sunday, great Mother's Day. Peace.